Hi guys, this is Panthers. I'm back in another video, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to have any face cam for this video, so we're just going to go based off my voice, and then I'll have the pictures up on the screen like usual, but I'm really sorry about that. It's just, I'm not feeling like doing the face cam this video, so it's just going to be the audio. But before we get into this video, I just want to let you guys know the 6 teams on the bye week this week, so 2 more than last week, are the Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys, Jacksonville Jaguars, Los Angeles Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And before we get into the video, if you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me down below. Link will be in the description, and let's get right into the predictions. So first, on Thursday Night Football at 8:20 p.m., we have the Broncos taking on the Browns in Cleveland. At the time of filming this video, we still don't know if Baker Mayfield or Teddy Bridgewater will play. They're both questionable, but I still think the Browns are the better team, so I'm going to give them the win here. And if one of those quarterbacks play and the other doesn't, it could affect the outcome, but I just got to make the prediction with assuming they're both questionable right now, which means they both could play. One of them could play. I don't really know, because at the time of filming, since they're both questionable, we don't know, because sometimes when they're questionable, they play. Sometimes they don't. Just depends on how severe the injury is. But I'm going to go with the Browns to get the win at home on Thursday Night Football. Let's get into the Sunday games. So first on Sunday, we have the Chiefs taking on the Titans in Tennessee at 1 p.m. So Titans played really well on Monday Night Football this past week, so I really enjoyed that, and they came back and beat the Bills. And I think this will be a pretty close game, but I think I am going to go with the slight edge to the Titans because the Chiefs' defense has just not looked very good this season. I know their offense is really good. Even though they haven't been playing as good as they normally do, the offense is still really good with Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. It's still really good. In any game, they can just heat up and go crazy. So I'm not saying that the Chiefs are bad. I still do think there's a very good chance they win this game. The only reason I'm going to pick the Titans is because I just don't know how the Chiefs are going to be able to stop Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry's a really good running back, and the Chiefs' defense is really not that good. So I really don't know how they're going to stop it. I'm not trying to disrespect the Chiefs, but their defense has just not been good. That's always been their weak point these last couple of years. Their defense, not their offense. So I do think this will be a pretty close game, and I think it'll be pretty high scoring, but I am going to give the edge to the Titans at home. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have football team taking on the Packers at Lambeau Field at 1 p.m. Eastern. So in this game, I'm going to give the Packers the win, because the Packers have been playing really good this season. Ever since that one loss in Week 1, they've been playing so well. And the football team, they played decent against the Chiefs, but I just really am not a huge fan of how they're playing this year. They played a lot better last year, in my opinion. And I just don't think they're going to be able to beat the Packers at Lambeau Field. I just don't think they are able to go on the road and win there. So I'm going to give the Packers the win with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, etc., because their team's just really good. And ever since that Week 1 loss that made Aaron Rodgers mad, he's just been going crazy. And I think that continues here against football team. So I give the Packers the win. Let's get into the next game on Sunday. Next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I think this is going to be a really good game because both teams have been playing really well this season, in my opinion. But I do think I'm going to give the slight edge to the Ravens at home to get the win here because Lamar Jackson is just so good. And even though the Bengals defense has actually been pretty good this year, Lamar Jackson is just so hard to contain. And I know both teams have been playing well, so I think this will be a good game. But I just think the Ravens and Lamar Jackson just a little bit too much for the Bengals to handle. So I'm going to give the Ravens the win at home. Let's get into the next game on Sunday. Next, we have the Panthers taking on the Giants at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey at 1 p.m. Eastern. So I know the last couple of weeks I've been saying I think the Panthers are going to get the win and end their losing streak against the Eagles and then last week the Vikings, and they were not able to do it in either game. But if they can't beat the Giants in New Jersey with most likely Saquon still out, we don't know quite yet, but most likely still out, and their wide receiver core has been banged up, the Giants have just had so many injuries, and if the Panthers cannot beat the Giants, even though they have some injuries themselves, the Panthers with Christian McCaffrey, etc., I just don't think they're really going to be able to beat really any teams. The Giants are not really good, and especially that everybody's pretty much almost hurt for them, almost all their key players. Daniel Jones got hurt 2 weeks ago. He came back last week and played, but he doesn't have a lot of weapons around him, so I don't think he's really going to be able to do a ton. So I'm going to give the Panthers the win here, but if they lose here, that might be it, because I know it's early in the season, but they're just going to lose so much momentum and not even be able to beat that good of a team that's only has one win on the year, which I know was against the Saints, so it was a Panthers division rival, but I just think the Panthers get the win here, so let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Falcons taking on the Dolphins in Miami. So in this game, I'm going to pick the Falcons to win because the Jaguars were able to beat the Dolphins in London last week, and I was very surprised by that. But I just don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to rebound here against the Falcons. Like, I get the Falcons are not a great team, but I just think the Falcons are playing a little bit better than the Dolphins are this year, and I just think they're able to get the win even though they are on the road. Because the Dolphins just, with Tua's been good, and he's also not really been the best. He hasn't really shown me yet that he's like a really good quarterback like Justin Herbert has for the Chargers, who went at number 6 in the 2020 draft, while Tua went at number 5 to the Dolphins. So until he shows me that, I just don't think I can really pick the Dolphins to win here, and I just think Matt Ryan, the veteran, and the Falcons will be able to get the win on the road. So I give the Falcons the win. Let's get into the next 1 o'clock game. Next, we have the Jets taking on the Patriots in Foxborough at 1 p.m. Eastern. The Patriots almost did win against the Cowboys last week, but they did end up losing. But I think it was a really good fight by the Patriots. And the Jets, I'm sorry, but they're definitely not as good of a team as the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a really good team, especially with Dak healthy now. He is questionable for not this week's, he has a bye week this week, but for next week's game in week 8. He did get injured on the last play of the game, which was the game-winning touchdown to CeeDee Lamb, so we'll have to see how he is, because he'll get this week to rest, and then next week we'll see if Dak is able to come back. But hopefully Dak can, because even though I'm not a Cowboys fan, I just don't like to see players get hurt, and especially Dak, who's been playing so good this season. It's pretty much what happened last season. He was playing so well, and he just ends up getting hurt, misses the season, and who knows if he stayed healthy all of last season, what the Cowboys could have done. They could have won the division. Dak could have set some records. He was on pace to set records. It was going to be such a good year for the Cowboys, and then he got hurt, and that was pretty much it, because Andy Dalton really couldn't do much with the offense. He just wasn't as good. That's why I do think the Patriots will win, because the Patriots played really well against the Cowboys, and the Patriots are just a better team than the Jets, in my opinion, and also they're at home, so I think they should be able to get the win here. So I'm going to give the Patriots the win. Let's get into the next game, which is at 4:05. Next, we have the Eagles taking on the Raiders in Las Vegas at 4:05 p.m. So in this game, I'm going to give the Raiders the win here, because I do get that the Eagles did beat the Panthers 2 weeks ago, but they lost to the Bucs, and it actually was a little bit closer than what I thought it was going to be, but I just don't think they're going to be able to beat the Raiders here, because the Raiders have been playing pretty good this season. I know they did beat the Broncos, who the Broncos have been iffy this season, but I do think the Raiders will get the win at home against the Eagles, so I'm going to give the Raiders the win. Let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Lions taking on the Rams in LA at 4:05 p.m. So Jared Goff gets to play his former team for the first time since being traded from the Rams to the Lions, and I just don't think he's going to be able to beat his former team, because the Rams have a really good defense, and their offense is pretty good too, and the Lions, like, I'm sorry to say it, they just have not looked too good this season. They're 0-6 right now, and I just don't think they get their first win against the Rams in LA, so I'm just going to give the Rams the win here, and let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Bears taking on the Buccaneers at 4:25 p.m. in Tampa. So last year when this game happened, it was in Chicago, but Tom Brady forgot how to count, because he thought it was 4th down, and it wasn't 4th down. He thought he had one more down to go, and he didn't, because it was already 4th down, so that's always funny. But not trying to bash Tom Brady, but that was pretty funny when he forgot to count. He's like, it's 4th down, and it's like, no, it's not. You already did 4th down. That was pretty funny, but besides the point, I think the Buccaneers will get the win here against the Bears at home, because the Buccaneers have been playing not as good as I thought they would be playing this season, but still playing really good. So I'm going to give the Bucs the win here at home. I just think they'll be able to win in front of the home crowd and beat the Bears, and Tom Brady's probably not going to try to embarrass himself again like he did last year against the Bears, but I do think the Bucs will get the win, so let's get into the next game. Next, we have the Texans taking on the Cardinals in Arizona at 4:25 p.m. So we have DeAndre Hopkins and J.J. Watt playing their former team in their new home in Arizona, so they're going to have fun there, but I think the Texans are going to get killed here probably, because the Cardinals have been playing so good this season. They're currently undefeated, and I'm not trying to jinx anything, so knock on wood, but they are undefeated going into this week, and I just think they're going to be able to beat the Texans, because the Texans have just looked horrible, and think the Cardinals are just going to easily be able to beat this team because Kyler Murray's been playing great. Possibly right now, if the season ended, he could be MVP, like with the way he's playing. And also the whole team's been playing really well. The defense been pretty good for the Cardinals. Just overall, I think the team's been playing great. And I think that continues here against a weak opponent in the Texans. So I give the Cardinals a win at home. Let's get into Sunday Night Football. So on Sunday Night Football, we have the Colts taking on the 49ers in San Francisco. So in this game, it's a little bit hard of a game for me to pick because the 49ers coming off a bye week. They did only lose by 7 2 weeks ago against the Cardinals, which is a lot closer than I thought. I thought they were going to get destroyed, but they didn't. They kept it close. So, and then the Colts obviously coming off their win against the Texans, but that was the Texans. So even though they killed them, it was the Texans. I'm not really surprised. So for this game, it's a little bit hard for me to pick, but I am going to pick the 49ers to get the win because they are at home. And I think the 49ers will be able to stand up to the pressure of being on prime time. And I think they'll be able to beat the Colts at home and try to get back into the NFC West division race. Because right now, they're kind of falling out at 2-3. They got to get a win and get right back in that race if they want a chance. So I'm going to give the 49ers the win on Sunday Night Football. Let's get into Monday Night Football. So on Monday at 8:15 p.m., we have the Saints taking on the Seahawks in Seattle. So in this game, I'm going to give the Saints the win here because Seahawks are still going to be without Russell Wilson and Geno Smith. Yes, he's been pretty good for filling in for Russell Wilson, but he's still not Russell Wilson. And the Saints were able to win last week. Seahawks coming off another loss. And I just think the Saints are going to be able to get the win here on the road in Seattle. But I would not be surprised if the Seahawks win because they have been playing pretty decent. And the Saints, they haven't been playing horrible this year, but they haven't been playing the best. But I just think the Saints are a little bit too much for the Seahawks to handle without Russell Wilson. So I give the Saints the win here on Monday Night Football. And thank you guys for watching this video. And if you want to follow me on Instagram to see more sports content from me, the link's in the description. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.